Hello and welcome live from New Delhi. You're watching DD India Live, India's voice to the world. I'm Gautam Roy, and coming up in the next 30 minutes, India's Prime Minister Narendra Modi holds a series of meetings on Sunday ranging from assessing the impact of Cyclone Ramal and the prevailing heat wave to discussing the agenda for the first 100 days of his third term. India gets ready for counting day on Tuesday to find out the results of its general elections. Arunachal Pradesh and Sikkim Assembly poll results are out. Arunachal stays with the BJP. The SKM sweeps Sikkim. And South Africa's ANC says it's in touch with all other political parties to stitch together a coalition after losing the majority it enjoyed for the last 30 years. India's Prime Minister Narendra Modi reviewed the impact of Cyclone Ramal at his residence in the capital New Delhi on Sunday. The PM was briefed about the impact of the cyclone on the affected states during the meeting. Loss of human lives and damage to houses and properties due to landslides and floods in Mizoram, Assam, Manipur, Meghalaya and Tripura were also discussed. During the meeting, it was mentioned that the Ministry of Home Affairs is in regular touch with different state governments. Prime Minister Modi said that the Government of India will continue to extend full support to the states affected by the cyclone. The PM also instructed the Home Ministry to monitor the situation and review the matter regularly to extend necessary assistance for restoration. And the PM also chaired a meeting to review the situation of the ongoing heat wave in the country and preparedness for the onset of the monsoons. Prime Minister Modi has instructed that proper drills for preventing and handling incidents of fire must be done on a regular basis. Fire audit and electrical safety audit of hospitals and other public places must be undertaken regularly. He also said that regular drills for the maintenance of fire line in forests and productive utilization of the biomass must be planned. And joining me now for more on this is my colleague Arun Sharma for more on the series of meetings that Prime Minister Modi is having. Arun, just tell us, in terms of having been busy with electioneering over the last 1.5 months and then a certain period where the Prime Minister took time out to pray, he's now back attending full-time to these governmental responsibilities. And what sort of meetings has he had? I believe there have been 7 of them today.
Absolutely, Gautam. So, Prime Minister Narendra Modi was supposed to conduct approximately 7 meetings today. That's what the government sources told us. And these meetings include, that of taking a review on Cyclone Ramal, also on the heat wave condition, and of course on how to celebrate the upcoming World Environment Day. Not only that, Prime Minister Narendra Modi is also supposed to chair a meeting on the 100-day agenda of his government. So yes, it was a busy day for Prime Minister Narendra Modi, a busy Sunday primarily. But yes, talking about 2 important meetings that Prime Minister Narendra Modi chaired in the afternoon, that is related to the Cyclone Ramal and of course on the heat wave conditions. We know this fact. I mean, both these two have, these are environmental issue. And of course, we know this fact as far as the heat wave condition is concerned. Prime Minister Narendra Modi has clearly instructed the government officials to ensure that proper fire audits and electrical audits are being done in various institutions all across the country or various buildings and departments. And also, he instructed the government officials to make a use of the One Agni application to detect the fire in the forest, to detect primarily the forest fires in the country. So this is of course the heat wave part where Prime Minister Narendra Modi chaired this meeting. On the second aspect of the cyclone, yes, of course, Prime Minister Narendra Modi chaired this meeting on the cyclone, and we know this fact, Gautam, that the northeastern part of the country is greatly impacted by the cyclone Ramal, and Prime Minister Narendra Modi, of course, has told the government officials. And earlier also we have seen that how Prime Minister Narendra Modi has instructed the government officials to ensure that how can there be a proper state and center coordination, how can people be provided with essentials and necessary items who are living in shelter right now, and also to ensure that how can connectivity can be restored, be it the physical connectivity or or the mobile connections or the telephone lines that can be restored as soon as possible. So that is what the meeting, the key takeaways of the meetings are concerned as far as the cyclone Remal is concerned, and of course about the heat wave condition in the country.
All right, Arun, let's see you there at the moment, and of course everybody will be keeping an eye on what's going to happen on the 4th of June is when the results of the great Indian elections come out. So let's get you updates related to that now. Well, the BJP on Sunday returned to power in India's northeastern state of Arunachal Pradesh, while the ruling Sikkim Krantikari Morcha, or the SKM, secured a second term in Sikkim with a landslide. Voting was held for 60 assembly seats in Arunachal Pradesh and 32 assembly seats in Sikkim on the 19th of April in the first phase of the Great Indian Elections. According to India's Election Commission, the BJP returned to power in Arunachal Pradesh for the third time in a row after winning 46 seats. Results were declared on Sunday for 50 of the 60 assembly seats, as the ruling party had already won 10 seats unopposed. Chief Minister Pema Khandu was one of the 10 party candidates who won unopposed earlier. After the BJP swept the assembly elections, Chief Minister Khandu called it a historic day for Arunachal Pradesh. And in Sikkim, the SKM, led by Chief Minister Prem Singh Tamang, won 31 seats, while the SDF won just 1 seat. Chief Minister Prem Singh Tamang Gole emerged victorious in the Renok constituency, securing a decisive win over his Sikkim Democratic Front rival Somnath Podyal by a margin of over 7,000 votes. Five-time former Chief Minister and SDF Supremo Pawan Kumar Chamling has lost from both Poklo Kamrang and the Namchebung assembly seats. Prime Minister Modi has thanked the people of Arunachal Pradesh for the victory of the BJP in the state. The PM added that the BJP will work with great fervour for the state's growth and progress. And the PM also thanked the people who voted for the BJP in Sikkim. Taking to X, the PM wrote, and I quote, "I thank all those who voted for Sikkim BJP in the assembly elections. I also appreciate the efforts put in by our Karyakartas. Our party will always be at the forefront of working towards Sikkim's development and fulfilling people's aspirations." Now, ahead of counting of votes, India's Election Commission has issued a handbook to poll officials in the recently held general elections. The counting of votes for the general elections and the state legislative assemblies of Andhra Pradesh and Odisha and by elections to assembly constituencies shall be held on the 4th of June starting 8 in the morning. That is Indian Standard Time. India's Chief Election Commissioner Rajiv Kumar, along with 2 election commissioners, had reviewed the counting day preparations with all chief electoral officers and returning officers. The counting trends and results, according to the data entered by the returning officer or the assistant returning officer for assembly constituencies and parliamentary constituencies, will be available on the ECI website as well as the Voter Helpline app, both on the iOS and Android mobile platforms. Now, the Voter Helpline app can be downloaded from Google Play Store or Apple Play Store, that is the App Store. The poll body has also issued a handbook for returning officers and counting agents, available on the ECI website. Meanwhile, India's Election Commission has provided central forces to prevent any post-poll violence based on the assessment provided by the states and central observers. Andhra Pradesh and West Bengal have been provided with security forces for 15 days after counting day. Uttar Pradesh, Odisha, Sikkim, Arunachal Pradesh have been provided security forces till 2 days after counting day. Now, in a landmark achievement in the global health security agenda, the 77th World Health Assembly agreed to the package of amendments to the international health regulations based on 300 proposals made by member countries after the COVID-19 pandemic. These amendments are geared towards enhancing the countries' preparedness and response to public health emergencies of international concern and pandemic emergencies. These include measures to ensure equitable access to health products during emergencies and mobilization of financial resources to support developing countries in building essential capacities under the IHR. India played a constructive role in the crafting of the instrument, which seeks to operationalize equity necessary for an equitable response by developing countries to public health emergencies. And still to come in this edition of DD India Live. Defense chiefs of US, Japan and South Korea hold trilateral meeting on sidelines of the Shangri-La dialogue in Singapore. An aide to Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu says President Biden's Gaza plan is not a good deal, but Israel accepts it. And we'll also get you an update on the flood situation in Assam after Cyclone Rumal.
After a grueling campaign, after exhausting polling spanning 7 phases, the stage is set for the counting day, the grand finale of the largest electoral exercise ever. DD India is all decked up and ready, counting of votes for India's general elections. Accurate and fast results, in-depth analysis with experts and reporters everywhere. Only on DD India, 4th June, 6 AM onwards.
Welcome back. You're watching DD India Live. I'm Gautam Roy. United States Secretary of Defense Lloyd Austin, Japanese Defense Minister Minoru Kihara and South Korean Defense Minister Shin Won-sik held a trilateral meeting on Sunday on the sidelines of the Shangri-La dialogue in Singapore. Austin is working to refocus attention on China's threat in the Asia-Pacific, and he's seeking to alleviate concerns that conflicts in Ukraine and Gaza have distracted from America's security commitments in the region. And Ukraine's President Zelensky, during the Shangri-La dialogue on Sunday, said that 106 countries and organizations had so far agreed to participate in a summit in Switzerland aimed at bringing peace to his conflict-torn nation. Volodymyr Zelensky thanked both the countries, including the United States, Germany and the Netherlands, for their military assistance, particularly with air defense systems, amid renewed attacks from Russian forces. Heads of state, senior ministers and officials from 55 countries are participating at the Shangri-La dialogue in Singapore. And the events at the Shangri-La dialogue also saw Volodymyr Zelensky meeting with US Defense Secretary Lloyd Austin on Sunday. Ukraine's Defense Minister Rustem Umerov was also at this meeting. Officials said Zelensky and Austin are expected to discuss the current battlefield situation in Ukraine, and Austin will underscore US commitment to ensuring Ukraine has what it needs to defend itself against ongoing Russian aggression. Zelensky is also scheduled to speak at the Security Summit's final discussion session on Sunday on reimagining solutions for global peace and regional stability. An Israeli aide to Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu has confirmed acceptance of a framework deal proposed by US President Joe Biden to wind down the Gaza war. The aide, Ophir Falk, described the deal as flawed but emphasized Israel's desire for the release of hostages. In an interview with Britain's Sunday Times, Ophir Falk, chief foreign policy advisor to Benjamin Netanyahu, said Biden's proposal was a deal we agreed to. It's not a good deal, but we dearly want the hostages released, all of them. He also said that Israeli conditions, including the release of hostages and the destruction of Hamas as a terrorist organization, remain unchanged. Political parties in Europe are campaigning for the upcoming European parliamentary elections. Prime Minister of Italy, Giorgia Meloni, addressed a campaign rally on Sunday. She said the next European Parliament should copy the current Italian model of government, drawing together all parties on the right to rule together. Meloni is the head of the rightist Brothers of Italy party, and she is one of Europe's most closely watched leaders. She's presented herself as a bridge between the mainstream centre-right and her own arch-conservative camp. Around 400 million European Union citizens will vote from the 6th to the 8th of June to elect members of the European Parliament. South Africa's Election Commission expected to announce the final results of the country's general elections in the evening as coalition talks are set to start after African National Congress has lost majority after 30 years. As of now, the ANC party has received around 40% of the votes according to results from 99.89% of polling stations, while the Democratic Alliance received around 21% of the vote. Joblessness, inequity and power shortages slashed support for the ANC to 40% in the 2024 elections. It had around 57.5% earlier. The ANC must now share power, likely with a major rival like the Democratic Alliance or Jacob Zuma's MK party, in an unprecedented move. Iran's hardliner former President Mahmoud Ahmadinejad has registered to run for president in the upcoming election on the 28th of June. The election, organized after the death of Ibrahim Raisi in a helicopter crash last month. Ahmadinejad previously served 2 4-year terms from 2005 to 2013. Under Iranian law, he became eligible to run again after 4 years out of office, but he remains a polarizing figure even among fellow hardliners. Iran's present Culture and Islamic Guidance Minister Mohammad Ismaili and former lawmaker Mahmoud Sadeghi have also registered for presidential elections on Sunday. Chinese state broadcaster CCTV on Sunday said that the personnel on a Philippine vessel in the South China Sea last month carried guns on deck. China's Coast Guard has said that the incident took place near the Second Thomas Shoal, which is an area of the South China Sea where Beijing and Manila have had an escalating maritime dispute for months. China has accused the Philippines of trespassing and of treachery, while Manila has slammed Beijing for what it says is a policy of aggression and dangerous maneuvering inside its exclusive economic zone. In more news updates from home here in India, the death toll in the floods in India's northeastern state of Assam increased to 15 after 3 more persons lost their lives in the calamity, as the number of affected population went up to over 600,000. 3 major rivers, Kopili, Barak and Kushiara, were flowing over the danger level. Among the other severely hit districts are Hojai and Kachar. More than 41,000 displaced people have taken shelter in 187 relief camps set up in various districts. NDRF, SDRF, local administration and people have been engaged in carrying out rescue and relief operations. Road and rail communication in several parts of the state remained disrupted following incessant rains in the aftermath of Cyclone Rumal. And let's get you some more updates from around the country as well. Delhi Chief Minister Arvind Kejriwal on Sunday returned to Tihar jail on his interim bail as his interim bail in Delhi liquor policy case ended. Earlier in the day, he visited a temple and paid tribute to Mahatma Gandhi at Rajghat. Arvind Kejriwal had been granted interim bail by the Supreme Court to campaign for the Lok Sabha elections, but the court had asked him to surrender a day after the last leg of polling. A delegation of the India or Indie Alliance bloc leaders met the full bench of Election Commission of India in New Delhi on Sunday. The opposition leaders discussed counting norms with the ECI and also asked them to ensure that the laid down procedures are followed. The South Indian state of Telangana on Sunday celebrated its formation day. Celebrations were held at a grand scale across the state. India's Prime Minister Narendra Modi also wished the people of Telangana on the occasion. Telangana officially became the 28th state of the Indian Union on the 2nd of June in 2014. And time now to get you some sporting updates as well. Real Madrid were crowned kings of Europe for a record-extending 15 time with a 2-0 victory over Borussia Dortmund in the Champions League final on Saturday. Defender Carvajal headed in from Toni Kroos's corner on 74 minutes before Vinicius fired home, extending Madrid's record as the most successful club in the competition's history. Going as huge favourites into the game, the Spanish side were outplayed for long periods but broke Dortmund's resistance with late goals. It was hard on the German side, which missed several good first-half chances, the best of which saw Niklas Füllkrug hit the post from close range. India's Amit Pangal has secured the ticket for the Paris 2024 Olympics. He defeated Louis Chuang of China in an unanimous 5-0 decision in the men's 51 kg category at the second World Boxing Qualifiers in Bangkok on Sunday. The 28-year-old is the second Indian male boxer to qualify for the 2024 Olympics after Nishant Dev booked his spot, beating Moldova's Vasil Sebutari 5-0 in the men's 71 kg event. Pangal had only one shot at making the Paris Olympics after he lost out to world champion bronze medalist Deepak Bhoria in the selection assessment for the earlier two qualifying events. India's R. Pragnananda continues to produce top-quality chess as he stunned world number 2 Fabiano Caruana in round 5 of Norway chess on Saturday night. Pragnananda achieved the distinction of beating both world number 1 Magnus Carlsen and number 2 Caruana in classical chess for the first time ever. The upset win helped the Indian prodigy break into the top 10 of chess world rankings. Praga has earlier beaten Carlsen in round 3 of the tournament. In the T20 World Cup, the US defeated Canada by 7 wickets in the opening match of the ICC Men's T20 Cricket World Cup 2024 on Sunday at the Grand Prairie Stadium. After being asked to bat first, Canada batted brilliantly to post 194 for 5. However, Aaron Jones's blistering knock combined with Andres Goose's timely half-century made sure United States got their first win of the tournament. Meanwhile, West Indies are to face Papua New Guinea later in the day tonight. 66 US veterans arrived and were cheered for by fellow Americans in Paris on Saturday ahead of D-Day anniversary celebrations. France's President Emmanuel Macron will be joined by leaders of the US, Britain, Canada, Germany and other countries in marking the 80th anniversary of the Normandy landings on the 6th of June. And that's all we have for the moment in this edition of DD India Live, but do let us know your thoughts on the news of the day. For those on the go, you can get all the latest news and updates from India and across the world on the DD India mobile app. It's available on both Android and iOS platforms. You can scan the QR code on the screen as well. It was there just a second ago to download the app now. And we'll be back with more news and updates this break here in DD India. I'm Gautam Roy, and from all of us here in Delhi, thanks for watching DD India Live.